I want to call to order the October 15th, 2015 meeting of the Ascension Parish Council. Right now, I would like to ask everybody to please stand for Ms. Kinchin can give us a prayer and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to get together tonight. We pray for guidance for our council. We pray for our men and women in uniform around the world, keeping us safe and free. We'd like to ask you to get our shout-out participants to the shout-out and home safely. And we'd like to ask you to watch over the families who are grieving right now. The families of Doug Frederick, Mr. Alan Gotro, Kevin Schillings, and T.J. Toops. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
We'd like to pledge to be led by Mr. Jack. Jack Watson, you got it?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sherry, and thank you, Jack. Roll call, Madam Secretary. Please note that Councilman Shake Snyder, Councilman Lohr, Councilman Cazzo are absent. All others present. There'll be no chairs additions. Public comment. If anyone wishes to speak on an agenda item, please sign in with the secretary, and you'll be given time to speak when that agenda item comes up. We'll move right into our presentations. Proclamations. Parish President Martinez.
Well, tonight it's a great night for me because I get an opportunity to honor one of the guys that been my friends for many, many years. And we've been through a lot of Veterans Day ceremonies, been through a lot of Memorial Day ceremonies, and he never got my name straight. He called me Foo-Foo Malonson or a bunch of other things, but he's been a great friend over the years. He's been a great friend to Ascension Parish. Anytime we ever asked Jack Watson to volunteer for anything, he did it. He kept the park up. He helped start the park from its inception, helped us get the big eagle that you see out there, and actually helped us all along, and did it forever and never asked for anything for himself. He just did it because he wanted to continue serving not only his country, but also his parish and his state. And Jack, I'm just so proud of you, and I'm just so proud. I've never honored anybody. I gave a certificate or any kind of award to anybody that means more to me than to you, and I just want you to know that. So I'd like you to come up now. Yeah, come on up, Jack. It's a lot of love. That's what it's going to cost you. Well, that is, Jack. You get over, you got to have glasses.
I don't take mine off.
Okay. Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana proclamation to proclaim Wednesday, November 11th. You know what day that is? Veterans Day. As Jack Watson Day in Ascension Parish. Whereas Jackie Ronald Watson Sr. was born in Elsie, Kentucky on September 13th, 1940. So that makes you 75. And whereas Jack answered the nation's call and proudly served on a base in Germany as a member of the United States Army Military Police Corps with the Vietnam era, whereas following dedicated service to our country, Jack fell in love with the joy of his life and married the woman he very affectionately calls his squaw, Janice Dewey. On June 24th, 1964, and whereas through their blessed marriage, Jack and Janice's family grew to include Renee Marie, Stephen Antoine, Kenneth Joseph, and Jackie Ronald Jr. And whereas years later, as the Watsons continued to enjoy their blessed lives together, the family had grown to include 9 grandchildren and 1 great-granddaughter. And whereas Jack's commitment to his country and to South Louisiana was shown with his numerous years of service with veterans and community organizations, including a member of the Vietnam Veterans of America, VVA Chapter 725. As a volunteer with VVA Chapter 689, Angola, and as part of the Veterans Parade of Ascension Parish, and with Livingston Parish, and as host of numerous ceremonies in Ascension's Veterans Park and in Livingston Parish. Now, therefore, it be proclaimed, I, Tommy Martin, as President of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, by the virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereunto proclaim Wednesday, November 11, 2015, as Jack Watson Day in Ascension Parish, and make him an honorary parish president on this day, urging our citizens to accord him all the respect and honor due to an honorary holder of this high office. So, Jack, when you leave here tonight, I'm taking off, and you're going to... You're taking over tonight, but take a break. I'm going to take a break.
This is an honor and a privilege for me to be here this evening. I've known this guy here for 40 years or better, and Tommy and I was always been good friends. And if I ever needed something, I'd go see Tommy, and if he didn't make it out the back door, he would help me. But Tommy and I have always been friends, and we've worked together in the motion of our Veterans Park. And he's been with us, behind us, for us, ever since the day one of the Veterans Park, when Gordon Knapp started it, and I was with Gordon. Lou Gautreaux, yeah, I don't want to forget Lou. But it's an honor and a privilege to be here. I know most of you folks that's out there, and it's a privilege for me to be here and talk to you about our Veterans Park and our veterans, period. We always stand behind our veterans, and our organization always helps veterans in need. Whatever the case may be, we're there for them. And if they're on leave in Germany or Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever it is, we're there for them. We send them care packages, and we've always done that. Our organization has been doing that for quite a number of years. And I want to tell you, it's a privilege to stand here with this man here. Let's see. And say it's a privilege and an honor to be accepted here in this parish. And I get to be the parish president for a day. Sit down. I'm taking over.
Thank you.
Any of the family or friends want to come up and take a picture, come on up there. Some of the veterans also that have been with Jack for a long time, you guys come up.
David, get up here. Don't be left out. Tommy? Oh, you bet. Well, you're retiring, we'll still be friends, you know. If I need something, I'll come see you. We'll be at your house. All right, come on down. What is this key fee?
Before we move on, Before we move on to our next proclamation, Madam Secretary, please note that Councilman Lohr and Councilman Cazzo are present. And Parish President, if you allow me, we have some guests in the audience that I want to recognize. We have Mr. Delaney, Donaldsonville City Council, Ms. Delaney, Ascension Parish School Board, and Mr. Lewis Lambert, Ascension Parish School Board. Thank you, sir. With that, we move on to proclamation. Kim Friends Week in Ascension Parish. Parish President.
Ms. Joby, how you doing? Good. To proclaim Kim Friends Week in Ascension Parish, whereas the Kim Friends Expo will celebrate its 19th year on November 4th and November 5th, 2015, at the Gonzales Civic Center with the objective of raising interest in science and chemistry among students and the community. Whereas our country, state, and parish all have a need for more trained professionals in the field of chemistry, engineering, and other science-related areas. Whereas local students need to be exposed to these professions in order to encourage their interest in these fields. Whereas the Kim Friends Expo was developed in support of National Chemistry Week and has proven to be one of the most successful outreach programs in the area. Now, therefore, it be proclaimed, I, Tommy Martinez, President of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, by the virtue of the authority vested in me, to hear and to proclaim November 1st through the 7th, 2015, as Kim Friends Week in Ascension Parish. Ms. Joby.
First, I want to say thank you. You were behind us from the beginning. You've been there to support us, and we're going to miss you when you're gone, but thank you very much. We'd also like to invite all of you to come out. Kim Friends is a 2-day event. The day is closed to the public. It's for all Ascension Parish, public, private schools, and homeschoolers. They attend a reverse science fair for us on November 4th and 5th. They'll come in, they'll stay with us for about an hour, and then they'll go back to school. However, on Thursday night, November 5th, it is open to the community from 5 to 7. And that's our chance to showcase and for the kids to come back and just show you and tell you everything they've learned over the 2 days. We have 13 member companies: Air Products, BASF, CF Industries, Chemours, Honeywell, Methanex, Motiva, OxyChem, PCS Nitrogen, Rubicon, Shell Chemical, Westlake Chemical, and Williams. And these 13 member companies have pretty much been with us the whole time. We also have the Ascension Parish School Board, which helps coordinate all the students in and out of the schools, Ascension Parish Government, Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, the Gonzales Fire Department, and Southern University. Again, we would like to invite you all out. It's been a great event, and you hear the kids talk about it all the time. Again, thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Martha's been with this event for how many years, Martha? The whole 19 years, right? So we want to appreciate you for doing that on behalf of the parish government. So thanks a lot. Thank you.
Guys that are in the chemical industry.
Now, I did tell you next year, we'd like green and a purple vial, the way you pour it in there and it bubbles up and all. Thank you, Martha Jean. I'm gonna try to make it. Ms. Martinez, our last presentation of the night, without further ado, we would like to recognize the Baton Rouge Area United Way Jambalaya Cook-Off Champions, Team Atmos Energy, Mr. Jimmy Charbonnet, Lewis Lambert, Rogers Johnson, Kevin Landry. They took it all. Bring up the awards, fellas, and come on up here. And their motto is, we're cooking with gas. bringing it back to the parish.
Unfair advantage, you guys going to Baton Rouge and teaching them how to cook jambalaya. So Anyway, congratulations, congratulations, amen, congratulations. I see these guys cooking jambalaya for a lot of events all over the parish. They do it on their own time, and they do a lot for the different organizations here in the parish. So I want to thank y'all for that too. So who's the spokesman of this group?
Thank you. First, we want to thank God for this beautiful day and for Him allowing us to be able to enjoy this beautiful day. Second of all, we want to thank Mr. Tommy Martin as parish president, and we also would like to thank this council for honoring us tonight. And we also would like to thank United Way for the great work they do in the community. And we'd like to thank y'all. God bless you.
Who's the head chef up there?
Parish President, you got the floor.
Yes, I'd like Ms. Whitney to come up and maybe give us a little update on what's going on again with Veterans Day activities and the Veterans Day Parade and all these other good activities going on Jack Watson Day in Ascension Parish.
That's Veterans Day. It's not my day.
Real quick, we are holding the Ascension Veterans Association is sponsoring the Veterans Parade again this year. It will be at 2 o'clock on Sunday, November the 8th. We're going to line up here on Armour Boulevard, go out on Worthy to Burnside, Cornerview, and back here. The actual Veterans Day ceremony will be on November the 11th, which is a Wednesday this year. It will be at 11 o'clock. Mr. Martinez has graciously agreed to be our guest speaker for that day. And we hope to have a special dedication also for a new memorial that we're putting in the park. And again, everyone's invited to come out. We will have a meal provided afterwards for folks that are there. We also have a new program that we're working on this year. We started off kind of slow, but we're spooling up, and it's the Reach Across America program. And for those not familiar with it, that is a program. For $15, you can purchase a wreath to place on a veteran's grave. This program started years ago at Arlington National Cemetery and has now spread to we'll be putting more information out about that here in the next couple weeks. Plus, we'll have some forums set up at the Veterans Day ceremony.
We'll remind them again on November 2nd when our next meeting about the parade and also about the activities at the park. And Missy, if you can give us maybe even an update on what's going on in Donaldsonville. I know you're not with Downtown Development District, but I know you're still involved with that, so appreciate it. Thank y'all. Take care of business, Jack, tonight.
We'll move into the Parish President's report. Parish President Martinez, you good? Good. Thank you, sir. With that, we'll move on to agenda item number 7. The chair would recognize a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sadler, second by Ms. Cazzo. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. We'll move to general business. Agenda item number 8, approval of Halloween hours. Halloween's on Saturday, October the 31st. Our normal hours are from 6 to 8 p.m. And that is fortunately the day before the time changes on November 1st, so Chair would recognize a motion. We have a motion by Mr. Benny Johnson, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Parish President.
I was gonna say, since it's on Saturday, we might make it all day, 12 to 8 or something.
Well, we can have an amended motion, sir. Would anyone wish to amend that motion? Thank you, sir. I tell you what, I've been serving with you for 8 years and you hadn't vetoed anything yet. This might be your chance. I know you're saving one good one for us. Thank y'all very much. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passed. We'll move on to agenda item number 9, change order number 1, CDBG, project number 03PARA 3201, LDC 4H building improvements.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
I got to at least read this.
Yes.
Yeah, girl.
Thank you,
Martha-
though. Thank
Miss-
you for your comments.
Ms. Collins.
Thank you. This is a change order for the CDBG and FEMA project. This is the 4-H building and the safe room. We had 3 credits and we had 2 that were additional fees. The largest one was for the lighting. It was not in the original portion of the bid specs, but we went ahead because we had extra money. This will be paid out of the grant. So we recommend that you approve this.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert,
I second.
second by Mr. Brian Malonson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Move on to agenda item number 10, renewal of 2016 employee insurance. Mr. Harry Robert.
Thank you, Councilman, Council Lady. It's a privilege to be able to work for y'all, and it's really a joy when I can bring y'all good news. I think that's what we have this year, is we have a reduction in our health insurance. In the era that we live in, you know, it's almost unheard of for people to experience any type of reduction, let alone, you know, a 2% reduction. And what's good about that, it's on top of a 4% reduction last year.
Correct.
So obviously, we're doing some things that we should be doing to develop that trend. Before you have the process which we go through every year, it shows the letters to the companies, asking them to give us some type of a quote if they're interested in it. And it shows the companies that responded. Some of them quoted and some of them did not. This year, we had very little interest in it because the satisfaction rate in our present carrier was 100% satisfaction, and the rate was going to be cheaper than last year, so that's pretty hard to compete against. So not very many companies wanted to compete or to give us even a price on it. Next page just shows you the price comparison between the present premium and the upcoming premium, which I was saying is a 2% reduction. The premium for the dental, the life, and the vision remain the same. There was no increase in that. And just for historical information, the next page just shows the different rates over the last 15 to 20 years. You know, some people just might find it interesting just to look how the rates have accelerated during those years. We had several meetings with different divisions of the parish. We met with the finance department, and then we met with the insurance committee. It was unanimous by the insurance committee to continue, you know, receiving our protection from Humana, and there was also 100% satisfaction with the service that Humana was given to the parish employees. So we have our recommendations, and I'll be happy to answer any questions or address any issues that you may have. But I'd like Christy Anderson with Human Resource to come up and just offer you our recommendations. Y'all want to do that, Christy?
Yes, Ms. Christy Anderson.
Good evening. All right, as Harry said, our recommendation is going to be to remain with Humana for 2016 with a 2% decrease in our health premiums. There will be no change in the premiums for our life, dental, and vision, so those will remain the same. The recommendation is that we, as the parish, continue to pay 75% of the monthly premiums for the employees. That's not going to change. That was the same last year. It will remain a high deductible health plan. We haven't had any complaints really from any of the employees regarding the deductibles. Everybody is fairly happy with the health plan and how it works. Our HSAs will remain with UMB, which you know is the company that we've had for the past several years. We haven't had any issues with that company either. We're going to work the health savings account exactly how we worked it last year. January, February, and March, everyone will get the parish contribution of $125 to their HSAs, and that will then give them and their spouses the opportunity to do their health screening and their online health assessment. And if they do both of those, then they will continue to get the $125 contribution from the parish. So that's not going to change from how it was last year. This year, we're going to try to come up with some more ideas to get the parish employees more involved with the Vitality program. We had a 95% participation rate as far as the online health assessments and the screenings. And then we actually had 31% of our employees reach silver status, which is fairly good. So we'd like to see closer to, 70, 80% reach that silver status. So we're going to do some things next year to see if we can get better participation from our employees. So we're kind of, thinking of things that we can do. We were thinking of doing some lunch and learns with the employees, letting them know what different things they can do to get more points with Vitality. So, any questions?
Excellent.
I'll make that motion, Mr.
Second.
Chairman.
We have a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Ms. Cazzo. Any discussion? Parish President, you got anything?
It's been a good working relationship this year. This is the first time we hadn't had any complaints, and things seem to be going real smooth. And if you remember last year how we went back and forth. But evidently the right choice was made. So
Great job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Mr. Joseph.
I just wanted to make the comment the same as the president did. Once again, the employees voiced their opinion and look like it's paying off with their voice. And then once again, I just want to compliment them and, speaking up for what they want. So once again, great job again.
Yes, Mr. Sadler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to say that Mr. Joseph and I did attend that meeting, as you know, Mr. Robert, last year. And as we all know, it was very controversial, but it looks like the people got what they wanted. And from what you said, they're happy with that. So congratulations to everybody all around. It's important to listen to the people, and I'm glad that we don't have egg on our face on this one. And so let's truck on and do it again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. It's a privilege.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Thank y'all. We'll move into introduction of ordinances. Agenda item number 11, introduction of ordinance to adopt the 2015 amended budget and the 2016 budget of Parish of Ascension.
Motion to introduce.
We have a motion introduced by Mr. Johnson, second by Mr. Malonson. It is introduced. We'll move to agenda item number 12, introduction of ordinance to upgrade rental charges at Lamar Dixon Center.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Todd Lambert,
Second.
second by Ms. Cazzo.
One quick discussion.
Yes.
This did come out of Recreation, just to let everybody know,
Yeah.
with approval, so.
It came through Recreation, Finance, everything.
Correct.
Any further discussion? It is introduced. We'll move to public hearing ordinances. Agenda item number 13, reading of ordinance, Mons Desire Plantation for James Boyce Jr. to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium-intensity residential RM to mixed-use corridor MU, medium-intensity MI, and high industrial HI located on the west side of LA Highway 18 West, approximately 1,000 feet north of Lemonville Cutoff Road.
Purpose of this ordinance is to,
Microphone, sir.
yes, I am. I'm sure there's multiple tracks in here. Okay. This ordinance amends the official zoning designation of a 374 tract for medium-intensity residential to heavy industry, medium industry, and mixed use. This rezone is identified as zoning ID 535.15, a 374 tract of Mondazia Plantation, Ascension Parish is a local government subdivision as defined by Article 6, Section 44 of the Louisiana Constitution 1974. The Parish of Ascension is the governing and responsible body of the zoning and regulations within the jurisdiction. Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish adopted May 4th, 1993 identifies the process and manner in which to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of the parish. The official zoning map of Ascension Parish for the last adopted on February 19, 2015. Whereas the Parish Council reserves the right to make changes to the official zoning map and ordinance, the request has been processed in compliance with the procedures set forth, be it ordained by the Ascension Parish governing authority that the official zoning map of Ascension Parish is amended to reflect the property identified as Exhibit A as heavy industry, medium industry, and mixed-use corridors as the official zoning designation. In the event any portion of the ordinance is ever held invalid or unconstitutional for any reason of any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed separate, distinct, and independent, and shall not affect the validity of remaining portions of the ordinance. This ordinance shall be in full effect as permitted by law. Exhibits A are the legal description, Exhibits B is the plat map, Exhibit C is the area zoning map. This ordinance has been submitted to a vote. The vote thereon was as follows.
Open
Thank
to
you,
public
sir.
comment.
We have a motion to open public hearing from Mr. Sadler.
Motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second, I second.
Second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Motion to close by Mr. Joseph.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sadler.
Move the ordinance.
We have a motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Malonson.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sadler. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. We'll move on to agenda item number 16, reading of ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from high industrial HI to medium industrial 660 feet along the east of property line and light industry located on the north and south side of LA Highway 1, approximately 4,700 feet east of LA Highway 405 for Souvenir Incorporated.
This ordinance amends the zoning designation for Souvenir Inc. from heavy industry to medium industry and light industry. This rezone is identified as zoning review ID 253.15 Souvenir Inc. Whereas Ascension Parish is a local government subdivision defined by Article 6, Section 44, Louisiana Constitution of 1974. And whereas the Parish of Ascension is the governing and responsible body over the zoning and regulations within the jurisdiction. Whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish adopted May 4th, 1993 identifies the process and manner in which to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of the parish. Whereas the official zoning map of Ascension Parish was last adopted on February 19, 2015. Whereas the Parish Council reserves the authority to make changes to the official zoning map by ordinance. The request has been processed in compliance with procedures set forth. Be it ordained the Ascension Parish governing authority that the official zoning map of Ascension Parish is amended to reflect the property identified as Exhibit A as medium industry and light industry as the official zoning designation. In the event any portion of this ordinance ever held invalid or unconstitutional by any reason of any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed separate, distinct, and independent provisions shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of the ordinance. The effective date of this ordinance shall be as permitted by law. The exhibits are A, a legal description, B, a plat map, C, the aerial zoning map. The ordinance have been submitted to a vote. The vote thereon was as follows.
Open public comment.
Motion to
Second.
open public hearing by Mr. Sadler. Second by Mr. Joseph.
Motion to close.
Motion closed by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Sadler.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Joseph, second by Mr. Lohr. Any discussion? Any opposition? That motion passes. We move on to agenda item number 19, reading of ordinance, remove the official zoning map as a historical site, the Dixon House, AKA Moore House, for Babette Shakesnyder.
To amend the Ascension Parish zoning map to remove the historical site designation for the Dixon House, a.k.a. Moore House, due to the site being removed by the current property owner. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has, in effect, a comprehensive zoning and pursuant to the plan, Parish-wide Development Code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective June 1, 1999. Whereas the Parish of Ascension is the governing and responsible body over the zoning and regulations within the jurisdiction. Whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish adopted May 4th, 1993 identifies the process and manner to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of the parish. Now therefore be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority that the official zoning map of Ascension Parish is amended to reflect removal of historical site designation for the Dixon House, a.k.a. Moore House. In the event any portion of this ordinance is ever held invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision, shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of the ordinance. The ordinance shall have shall be in full effect as permitted by law. The ordinance had been submitted to a vote. The vote thereon was as follows.
Motion, open public hearing.
Motion to open public hearing by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
Motion to close.
Motion closed by Mr. Melanson, second by Mr. Todd Lambert.
Motion to move the ordinance.
We have a motion to move the ordinance by Mr. Lower, second by Mr. Brian Melanson. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion passes. Before we move on to agenda item number 22, do we have an update on the shout-out? I mean, does anybody?
Traffic's bad.
Traffic's bad. And I'm sure that's where you guys were, stuck in traffic trying to get here, but, anyway, everybody be safe. Mr.
Motion adjourned,
We have a
Mr.
motion
Chairman.
adjourned by Mr. Todd Lambert, second by Mr. Lohr. Any discussion? Any opposition? We are adjourned.